Good evening and welcome to the Gaming Kin podcast. As always, I'm Jack and I've just made that clip something rotten. And once again with me is, as always, my co-host Mark.
As always, not been here a while. Bravo. Hi.
Praise the sun that he's back, because I was so missing him.
Geek.
So I've got one question obviously to ask you before we start anything, Mark. How did you feel your exams went?
Badly.
I'm sure you done better than you think.
I hate when people say that. God damn it.
Well, considering back in the day, everyone said, I'm the optimist, you're the pessimist, and I would then correct them and go, no, I shoot for the moon and Mark reminds me just to, make my way to the moon. He's a realist, not a pessimist.
Yeah, and to accept once myself, then I'm, I don't give a shittest.
So let's start with our topic.
Okay, go ahead.
So we're going to talk about the pros and cons of remasters and what we think's going to be in line with that in the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously this topic comes around with having the Crash Insane trilogy come out recently, when they brought out, was it Infinite Warfare for Call of Duty? They also brought out a remaster of Modern Warfare, I think it was. Yeah. And we've got the Spyro Reignited trilogy coming out soon as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Square have also remastered a lot of their games from the original SNES and NES carts to 3DS, which are also available on Steam now as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there are pros and cons to this, and I was hoping we could share our views on it.
Well, it really depends. If you're gonna basically try and reinvent the wheel of a game, then obviously a reboot, remaster, whatever you do, is not the way to go. Because essentially, what you're doing is just saying, "This generation liked it. Let's make another generation like it," which has its pros and cons. Back in our generation, Spyro and Crash, they were the big bastards you won a lore, and the other person was scum. Personally, Spyro.
I preferred Gex the Gecko, to be fair, at the time of mascot gaming.
And that literally explains Jack's entire existence. Whereas nowadays, you've got games to upload as so they don't hold the same cultural place they will now.
Yeah. But, I mean, a lot of us, I say we're older gamers, but we're not. We're still
just
in our
gamers,
20s, but we're older than the current generation of gamers. And a lot of them have never played such classics as FF7, FF4, the original Dragon Quest games. A lot of them have probably never even played the original Tomb Raider games made by Eidos and Core Design,
Bro, all those games you just said I've probably never played. When you go for old games, you go for old ass games, man.
The original Mario games as well. A lot of the younger gamers probably haven't played them because either they're not available on the consoles that they've got, or they'll go, oh, the graphics aren't that good on that, I don't want to play that. Because I've found, talking with some of the younger folk that I deal with at the youth club I help out with, that graphics seems to be more important than story in games these days. I'm very much a story over graphics kind of guy. I'll still go back and play the original NES version of FF1, you know what I mean?
Yeah, see, I can't do that. For me, it is all mainly about the story, which means once I've read the story or played the story, I'm not inclined to go back to it unless I've forgotten a good chunk of the story.
Yeah.
I'm go that with books. If I like a book, I'll give me a year or two. I'll go back and read it quite happily. Game-wise, varies.
But on the flip side is with with us getting more remasters and remakes,
Mm-hmm.
We've had Shadow of the Colossus recently,
That's came back to some good fanfare though.
and that has been a big hit. And I've seen it, and it looks fantastic. It looks amazing. The controls, the mechanics are still the same. It is just the game with a fresh coat of paint.
Which, if you do that, it's fine.
Yeah,
But some women try to take you up another level, and you're like, did it need it? No, why'd you do it?
so that is bringing classic great games to the newer generation. But on the flip side, the downside of it is with these games being remade and remastered, we're getting less new IPs. It's also a problem with the fact that we're getting more sequels as well. Because you've got Fallout, which is up to Fallout 4. You've got Elder Scrolls, which is at 5 for Skyrim.
Sorry, are you bitching
plus-
about a sequel continuity? Considering what's your favourite game series?
Final Fantasy
What's the latest one?
15?
And is that like is it in 15? Is there 15 games?
No, there's over 130 Final Fantasy games.
Okay, yep, good for you.
But no. What I'm saying is, like, with every new Final Fantasy, it's a new game. It's just continuing on a sequence of numbers. But every game changes mechanics. It changes, a lot of things.
Well, up until lately, when it was like turn-based, it was basically the same kind of idea. But as soon as I to like what? Well, what was it that changed everything? Was it
11.
was 11 that changed everything?
11, the very first MMO.
Oh no, I didn't mean like
of
that. I
the
meant
Final Fantasy series.
like right, the turn-based.
11.
Well, no, that doesn't really count, does it? I'd never.
Well, 12 continued on
well, I go
the
12.
same
But
kind of style of gaming, but was
yeah, but most people wouldn't go on
single-player
like for the
experience.
MMO thing though. For me, like I jumped from basically 10 to 12 because I was
Yeah.
knowing how I'm going for an MMO.
But I mean, they innovate. Square Enix are known for innovation of the genre through the Final Fantasy series. But what I'm thinking is like fresh new IPs where everything is different.
Yeah, but
Um,
But have you ever had a wee scroll through, for instance, the PlayStation Store down to the bottom low ranks, and you get some random ass games? Like,
yeah,
you
usually
want some.
once I see one Chanbara, that's when I stop looking.
It's just
'Cause I know everything's just going to get more and more mental once you see one
things
Chanbara.
are either one of three categories nowadays. They either a continuation in a series, like you said.
Yep.
They are a remastering of a series, or it's a new like indie type game, and you're
Yeah.
like for instance, there's one like was it Bread?
I Am
Play-
Bread.
I Am Bread. You play as a piece of fucking bread.
You make the epic journey to the toaster.
Did
become
you
toast.
play it or did you just
No,
research it?
I've seen people play it
You worried me for a second. I was like, damn.
because I was thinking about downloading it because I played one of the other games by Bossa Studios, which is Surgeon Simulator, and it's so much fun.
Okay, some games like Search and Something they do look fun because they're meant to be silly. But I'm Bread, come on now.
I think it seems like an absolute hilarious thing to play. Don't get me wrong, I played Goat Simulator and I found that an absolute laugh.
It's a really Goat Simulator.
Goat Simulator.
You're really kind of guy who's gonna get Tractor Simulator as well, aren't you?
I've got Farming Simulator 2015 up there.
Just for the record, he does. Oh my god, right.
It's sitting right underneath Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac
See,
Age.
you're the type of people who are running games.
There's nothing wrong with
You
games.
go, you
Nothing
buy
wrong with
into
simulation games.
you buy it into the Final Fantasy things, which means there's always going to be new sequels. You buy into these random as hell gaming ideas, and then you bitch about them, and now you're bitching about remasters as well.
No.
You're the worst kind of gamer, man. You can't be mind.
I'm not bitching about them. I see the pros and I see the cons. I like seeing new IPs coming out. I'm excited for E3 to see what Bethesda are doing with Starfield. I'm looking forward. Yeah, it's their new IP. It's another open world RPG. This time it's set in space.
Ooh, interesting.
I'm excited for Cyberpunk 2077 by
That
CD
does look
Projekt
amazing.
Red.
I'll give you that.
That is like futuristic Witcher.
As long as that's the idea. I think we're building on obviously
Yeah.
the fanfare of Witcher.
So I'm excited for all these new IPs. I'm excited to see remasters come out because it brings games that I loved when I was younger, or games that I may be too young to remember, into current focus. And you know, I love sequels as well because I'm really excited for Kingdom Hearts 3 because it's continuing on the story of Kingdom Hearts and it's an amazing story.
Mm.
But at the same time, I see that there's things wrong with having sequels and remasters. There's sometimes things wrong with having a new IP.
Mm.
You know, sometimes it's all about timing for them
Yeah, I can
rather
understand that.
than whether it's happening or not. You know, like I think the timing for bringing out Crash and Spyro, well, the time for bringing out Spyro is now
Mhm.
because they've just brought out Crash.
Yeah, it makes the
But
whole rivalry begin
I
again.
still felt that Crash, the remasters, is a bit too early. It's about 5 years too early for that. You know,
Well,
but that's just my view.
apparently it's hitting it out of the park.
It is, especially now that it's also out on Switch, Xbox, and PC, because it was a PlayStation exclusive originally. You know, it was a timed exclusive.
Mm.
So now that it's available on the other platforms, it definitely is. Don't get me wrong. So now that it's out, I do realise that my thinking was wrong. But when it came out, I thought, we're about five years too early for this.
Mm.
You know,
As a side note, though, have you seen the graphic representation of original Spyro in the current one?
yeah,
He's
it's-
short and thick, man.
I know. But see, what they've what they've said is it is a like for like representation of the game then as it would look now. The mechanics are all the same.
Mm.
All they've done is spruce up the graphics. They're using the same voice lines, the same
Oh, is it the same-
soundtrack. Yeah.
Oh, so it's completely just a remaster, effectively.
Yeah, it is straight up just graphical enhancements.
Huh.
Um,
Some of those bosses look weird now. Damn.
but yeah, I'm really excited to see how that goes. With Shadow of the Colossus just coming out recently, the the team that made it have said they're not going to remaster any more games for a while. They're actually going to be working on a couple of fresh new IPs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, taking the time out to do a remaster or a remake also gives the team time to think about what they could be doing for their new IP,
Mm-hmm.
or if they are going to do a sequel to an older game now that they've remastered it. If they're they could do Shadow of the Colossus 2 now if they wanted to, you know?
I've never played it, but that did end on a cliffhanger, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could.
So,
It would be the right time, that.
it opens up the options for that
Mhm.
as well. So, that is a pro. They can continue on that story now that they've remastered it. They can then do a sequel if they wanted to.
I think what you could find, though, is obviously as time goes on, you get all these other characters jumping into other game series. For instance, you get oh my head, it was Geralt. He's now in
Soul Calibur.
yeah. So people pass over all these different things. So maybe you might get Crash and Spyro jumping out into other series.
Yeah.
But-
It's possible.
With that idea though, now that you said some games are coming back too soon, I think something I think it's time now. Some games went away. Like Sonic and Mario.
Actually,
I think they've been around too long, man. They're everywhere on everything. I'm so bored of them.
I don't know. I agree and disagree. It's that way. I love the original Mario games. I love Mario Kart, Sonic and Mario at the Olympics. I'm playing Sonic Mania and I'm absolutely loving it because it takes you back to what Sonic was
Before they tried to make
Before-
them better.
before 3D.
Yeah.
And I think if you can, because Sonic Mania Plus is coming out this year. That's the expansion with new levels, new characters, and it brings back that feeling of nostalgia from playing, the original Sonic games.
Mm.
I think at times, if you oversaturate it like has been done with Mario, it can be difficult to really
Care.
care, yeah. But at the same time, the games that are coming out, the Mario games that are coming out, they're innovative, they're fun, but it just kind of feels like the character Mario has been overdone. rather than the games. If they replaced them with like Luigi for a while, I
No,
think.
I think it's better to get like right into like Toad or something or Yoshi.
Well,
Just
Toad has Treasure Tracker
no, that's not Toad.
coming out. Hmm?
That's not Toad. Well, it's like Captain Toad.
Captain Toad is Toad.
No, it's not. It's different characters, man. How dare you? He worked hard for his rank.
But I mean, because you've got Smash Bros coming out this year,
Mm.
and while that is primarily a Mario game, it is a crossover between all of Nintendo, because you do get Kid Icarus and Pit, Ike, Marth, Wario, Waluigi, Link, Zelda.
You ever felt the fact that Avengers basically looked at that and said, "We're gonna do a movie version of that"? It's essentially what they did.
Yeah. But no, it's one of those things. We look at those older games with nostalgia. We look at the characters with nostalgia, and they're not the same as they were back when we first played them on the likes of the NES and the SNES. But for younger players, the likes of my brother and sister, who are not even teenagers yet,
Teeny tiny.
they see those games and it's all new to them. And I like that Nintendo and Sega are still capitalizing on newer players not knowing these characters to try and keep them fresh for younger generations.
Yeah, but then you get existing players who are like, "Oh my god, I have to get interested in them again."
But
like, think back in the day, right? A 40-year-old plumber sounded like a great character to play as. Nowadays, you're like, "Oh, come on to hell." It's Mario going through his midlife crisis, man.
On the note of Mario, though, since we're talking about remakes and remasters, since the original topic was remakes and remasters,
Yeah.
one thing I would like to see though is Super Mario RPG: Legend of the Seven Stars.
That does sound messed up.
That I would love to see a remake of that, like a same game, new coat of paint kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which could easily be done because Square Enix are now making games again for Nintendo, particularly with the DS and the Switch. They've got Octopath Traveler coming out in July, and they've been remaking a lot of the older games that were on the NES and the SNES for the 3DS.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they could maybe make Legend of the Seven Stars, do a fresh coat of paint on that. That would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just one of those things though.
Does I
don't
guess
know.
just messing around with a computer?
Yeah, it is just it's all about timing. Whether you're bringing out a remake, remaster, or a sequel, or a new IP.
See, that's my point though. Like, obviously, Crash and Spyro coming back, and God willing, they could be like a big cultural thing for people.
Yeah.
Whereas for Sonic and Mario, they're now kind of jokes. Sonic's been screwed with so much.
Yeah, like up until Nintendo stepped in, Sonic was a damaged brand after Sonic 2016.
Yeah.
Not 2016, 2006. Because that game was launched and it was broken, buggy, and unpatchable. But then, Nintendo stepped in with the likes of letting Sega do Sonic games for the Wii U. Not the Wii U, the Wii. The likes of Sonic Colors and things like that. And faith started to go back into Sega regarding Sonic. And then even more so when Sonic was introduced into the Smash Bros. Series and into and they done the Sonic and Mario at the Olympics. There was a bit more faith in the brand again, and then they brought out Sonic Mania, and then it just went through the roof. All the nostalgia, and Sonic is back where he should be compared to how he's been since the Dreamcast, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, we were meant to get a fantastic Sonic game on a Dreamcast, and then we never did. We were meant to also, while we're on the topic of the Dreamcast, we were also meant to get Streets of Rage 4, and we never got that either. Instead, we got Fighting Force, which was meant to originally be...
the hell's Fighting Force?
It's what was meant to be Streets of Rage 4.
Fighting Force? Jesus.
But what then happened was the guy who owned Sega at the time, the chairman, had never heard of Streets of Rage and cancelled it. So then they pitched the same game again under a different name, and it got the okay.
That's so sad.
Like, not even that. The fact that it has a 4 at the end of it
Kind of signals a big thing.
signals that it's continuing on a series that he'd never heard of, despite owning the company. And it was, with the exception of Sonic, probably their biggest franchise.
That's embarrassing. It really is.
It's bad. But yeah, so once again, it's all about timing.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking the time to make remakes and remasters does take away time for new IPs and sequels, but it also gives them the teams the chance to come up for ideas for remakes and for new IPs and sequels, and it does bring classic games to the younger generation, which they might not play otherwise. Because I know that if I was just getting into games now, I wouldn't want to play FF7, one of the greatest games ever.
Because it's old, man.
Because it's old. Because the graphics aren't as good. Or it's on a console that I might not even have, So I do like that they are doing, like, we are getting remakes and remasters to bring these games, and it also fills us with a wee bit of nostalgia when we hear that these games are coming out. We go, oh, I remember playing that for the first time. I'm kind of excited, because that's what I was like when I saw Crash coming out. It's like, oh, I remember my first time playing Crash, and then we got the Insane Trilogy, and I was like, this is a lot harder than I remember, and I rage quit so hard I cried. I didn't actually cry.
Yeah. You try and save your man.
I wanted to cry.
Yeah, you say so. Yeah, sure.
If I had really cried, I wouldn't even bother trying to pick it back up again, but I did, and I still sucked at it. Because my excuse is it's harder because it's less janky than it used to be. It's more fluid. It's true.
Yeah, blame the game. Blame the game.
Always. Blame the tools.
You remember that in a few years.
Anyway, shall we get in some news?
Go ahead.
So we'll start with a couple of Nintendo stuff. So hold on to that. Swing my screen round so I can see what I've got.
And it breaks the laptop.
Yeah, probably. So Nintendo's next mobile game is going to be an original RPG. Like, lately it's been things like Mario Run or Mario Go, I think it was called. I can't remember, but
I think it just made a point about him being everywhere.
But it was kind of like Temple Run kind of game.
Sorry, so you have to play as a 40-year-old plumber running around, but he's still chunky. Come on now, but Luigi maybe.
But it was like running a straight line and then going to the next lane to collect coins and dodge obstacles and jump and duck and all of that kind of thing.
Okay, coming from a small-ish fat dude. Nah, you can't have Mario Run. That's a joke. Luigi Run makes sense.
No, it was Mario.
That's what I'm saying. It should have been.
It was along the lines of Sonic Dash.
That at least makes sense. What's your one job, Sonic? I run.
Well, they had the Mario game that was kind of like that. But this is a whole new game. It's not based on any lore or any universes in the Nintendo catalog at the moment. It's made by Kai Games, and it's called Dragalia Lost.
So that's Kai Games?
Kai Games.
Huh.
Kai Games.
Yeah, I thought it was Psy Games.
CY Games.
Kai Games.
So it's out this summer in Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau. It looks to be more story focused than any of their older titles on the mobile platforms.
We don't know if it's like energy based or what for actions, which will make it rubbish.
We
or
don't.
If it's a full on game.
I'm kind of hoping it'll be a full on game, to be fair, because it is an RPG.
So that's not how mobile games generally work.
As long as it doesn't turn out to be like Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition, I'm okay.
Pocket Edition?
Oh yes, I will show you. I will show you gameplay for the Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition when we finish this.
Shocking.
It is, by the way. I'm not happy with it at all.
Wait, how long does it take to complete Final Fantasy? Like 15? Is it like 40, 60 hours?
Oh, a standard Final Fantasy game is about a 40 to 50 hour RPG.
You're just gonna sit down on a phone. Your phone will die.
Oh, just you wait till I show you it. Anyway, the website and the trailer are only in Japanese at the moment, but it is coming to the West at some point. But it seems to be, warriors, magical creatures, going after dragons, crystals, and other magical creatures. Your kind of standard RPG stuff.
Kind of what you'd expect, generally.
Yeah. Kai Games, CY Games, however you want to pronounce it. They also worked on Grand Blue Fantasy with Square Enix.
You heard of that?
I actually had it on my PC for a while.
Fair enough.
The problem is I couldn't actually play it because I couldn't get the English patch to work. Because I can't read Japanese.
Can you not do that yet? Come on, Jack.
I know.
Yeah, I'm not going to work later, but I have no idea what everyone's saying.
But they do Kai Games, CY Games. They do really good Japanese mobile RPGs.
Not like Jack, no.
I've heard nothing but good things about them.
I give you that.
So yeah, it looks to be good. Hopefully, when it comes out, we will get a chance to play it. If we can, we'll try and get someone on the team to stream a wee bit of it, let you guys see it.
So Jack.
Probably me.
Yeah.
I'll probably need to get a better phone because I can barely even run Final Fantasy All the Bravest on my phone, and that is just to kind of sit and swipe your finger on the screen until the enemy's dead game.
Or you just play a proper mobile game. It's only
If
meant
I
to be a
can-
little distraction, not a proper 8 hour sitting playing a game on your phone kind of thing.
I know. But pre-registration for the game has opened for iOS and Android. Over in the Asian market just now, we can expect a launch later in the year.
Whoa.
However, Nintendo are also working on a Mario Kart mobile game, Mario Kart Tour, which is set to release at the end of this fiscal year, so around about March next year. Yes, Mario Kart. I like Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart on a iOS would be good, or on Android.
Wow, it's like you can literally drive along with us and be everywhere.
Also,
You got someone called Haggis?
yes, I've got someone called Haggis on Steam.
How to tell someone you're Scottish? Be called the Haggis. He's not Scottish, is he?
He's 6'2" and ginger.
Oh my god, fair
I
enough.
went to high school with him.
Okay, sorry, sir. Don't hurt me.
At least if it is who I think it is, he's 6'2" and ginger. But now Nintendo seem to have about a 5% market studio stock. Their games are proving to be a bit more popular on mobile markets just now than some other games. So I have heard rumours that Nintendo might bring out a phone next that's
Really?
compatible with a kind of virtual console.
Wait, a gaming phone?
Yeah.
Just make another console, you bunch of weirdos.
I actually would
network
like
you-
I would like a Nintendo phone.
What
I'm
network
gonna
are
be
you
honest.
with? Nintendo.
No, what network are you with? You would be Vodafone, not BT because they don't do. BT Mobile doesn't exist anymore. That's now O2, which does still exist. You're with one of those. You're not with Nintendo. They're not a service. They'd be a phone maker like Apple or Samsung, or Nokia or Microsoft
Or Sony. Jesus.
or Sony.
Literally, not one gaming company, but go on then.
Well,
Like a Microsoft.
if Nintendo did start making phones, your three leading console makers would also be making phones.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft, with the Windows phones,
Yeah.
which used to be made by Nokia, but they're now made by Microsoft.
Hate Windows phones. Hate them.
Using a Windows laptop, when I used to work for the Church of Scotland, I found it really handy having a Windows phone, because it connected really easily.
Aside from that, it's rubbish.
Yeah. You got like no apps for it.
Yeah.
I didn't get Snapchat. I didn't get Instagram. Facebook barely worked.
And then consider the games using. Like,
I
damn.
had one game that was worthwhile. and that's only because it was made by Nokia, and that was Snake.
Oh my god.
That was it. All the rest of the games were pretty lame.
Yeah. Horrible.
But no, Sony, they make phones. The Xperia phones. They used to do the Walkman phones.
Woodward.
They also make the PlayStation, and then
Shocking.
then you've got Nintendo. And if they made phones, they'd also be like.
It's really no one would bat an eye out when you think about it.
It would be amazing.
Okay, apparently Jack could bat an eye.
I would totally buy a Nintendo phone.
Jesus.
Why not? I think it would be really cool. So next up on the Nintendo news section of the news, we've got word that we're probably not getting a virtual console on the Switch. The virtual console is an amazing thing that was started when they brought out the Wii, continued on to the Wii U, and on the 3DS. You could buy older games from the previous generation consoles and play them on current gen consoles at the time.
Huh, cool.
For example, I have the original Mario
Oh my god, he is everywhere.
on the Wii U. I used to play Pokemon Red on my X's 3DS, and I bought that on the Virtual Console.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really cool, but it looks like we're not getting that for the Switch, and it's kind of gotten
It doesn't make sense.
because I mean, don't get me wrong, they've not said no. They've said highly, but from the way it's looking, it's been out. I mean, the Switch has been out about a year now.
It's been that long?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And it looks like it. If they were definitely going to be bringing it out, they'd have done it by now, surely.
Probably, yeah, I'll give you that.
So we're not sure, but it's not looking like it. But you could, but with the virtual console, as long as you use the same account details, you could transfer the games on the virtual console across the consoles.
Mm.
As long as it was compatible with that console, obviously
Aye.
you couldn't take up your massive game and then play it on the 3DS if it was one that you played on like the Wii U. Yeah, I mean, like Star Fox maybe.
Oof.
It was a pretty big game,
Mm.
You couldn't do that, but as long as it was compatible, size wise, compatible with the memory storage, you could do it. But developers who would have put games out on the virtual console, the likes of Sega and Square Enix, they are remaking games specifically for the Switch. Well, I say they're remaking them; they're putting them up on the online store.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that. For older Nintendo games, you've got the SNES Mini and the NES Mini consoles, or you could get the. I think they're putting older games on as part of their online subscription service, so we'll see what happens with that at least. Anything to add to that, Mark?
No, I just think it's a really bad idea getting rid of the whole actual service, man. Like, obviously it's a big crowd pleaser, so it's literally just sounds like a cash grab. Which, once people figure out, it ain't good, man.
Next up is a classic arcade shooter called... But we actually had an argument about how to pronounce this earlier, kind of.
So you're Ikaruga, Ikar Uga, or was what any other variation?
Ikaruga.
Ikaruga. How good picture did you get Ikaruga?
Well, I can also make an E sound.
Go on then.
Ikaruga.
Fuck off. I mean, I know exactly, you asshole. I'll say it differently.
Well, the Warriors games, right?
Uh-huh.
You've got Warriors Orochi. That ends in an I, but it sounds like an E.
Oh, well, that's a weak. That's a weak example. I'll give you it though, because you're right, but that's a weak example.
And it's quite a beloved arcade shoot 'em up, and it's coming to the Switch later this month. It's coming in the 29th of May for. You know what? I forgot to even put it through the converter for UK price, so it's going to be about $15.
That's about what, 13 quid?
But 12, 13 quid, aye.
Like nowadays, it's not even that much difference, man.
So it was first released by Sega in 2001 on the Dreamcast. Yes, because Dreamcast was out by that time. So yeah, that's going to be cool. It can be played in vertical mode on the Switch the way it was meant to be played. So yeah, it's going to be really cool.
Are you gonna play it, Jack?
But if I get a Switch, then yeah. I don't have a Switch.
Yeah, but would you actually play it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, here's how much I want a Switch, right? I'm debating. Right?
Oh, here we go. The debate.
Pre-ordering Octopath Traveler for the Switch.
Of course, I've got your love about this game.
And I was going to get the collector's edition.
I'll give you a collector's edition. It does look beautiful.
And I was going to keep everything except from the cartridge. And I was going to give that to my sister's boyfriend who has a Switch until I buy a Switch. That was my plan.
Hold on, wait. You'd give everything to him, borrow the card?
No, I would keep everything except the
okay.
card. I would give him the game.
Yeah, I flipped it.
I would keep all the.
I thought you were going to have like a really
stuff.
evil idea. Like, I'll give him as a present, but I won't give him the game. Because if you...
No. I'll keep everything except the game until I get a Switch, then I'll get the game back off of him.
Aye, like that'll work. It's
would
my
work.
game now.
No. What I'll probably end up doing is then just buying a new copy of the game if after that.
Oh lord, right, you're one of those guys.
Why not? So that is the end of Nintendo related news. And now we're on to some
Good lord, yeah.
just all of everything else in the gaming world. We're going to start off with some PUBG news. And that is that PUBG Corp have confirmed the arrest of 15 hackers in China.
Well, that's a bad showing.
It's mental, isn't it?
For the gaming capital of the world.
I mean, especially with China trying to be, more influential within the esports scene, and PUBG trying to become an esport. It kind of seems to put China on the back foot for that with the amount of cheating in PUBG at the moment. Like,
so China right now, to E-games, is what, like, Russia was to Olympics, effectively.
Yeah.
With, like, doping and shit. Let's go, wait, it's not allowed? Oh, sorry.
So, the police have arrested 15 people in China who the PUBG Corps have tracked back using, their software.
Straight up, like, how embarrassing is that, going to jail? Like, prisoners, rapists, murderers and that shit, and like, so what are you in for? Hacking a game? And they're like, right, alright then.
So, PUBG have formally announced 15 arrests made by Chinese authorities, so there's probably more arrests being made since the article came out and as we speak. So, the charges include developing and selling hacking/cheating programs that affect PUBG, and fines are said to be in excess of about $5 million.
Total.
Yeah. Not per person. I don't think per person.
If it's per person, that's horrifying.
So yeah.
I mean, it's a game. It's insane to think.
I know.
Fucking hell.
So like this is something that's been going on for a while because a lot of players were crying out for Chinese players to be locked into Chinese servers, which were then blocked off from the rest of the world because of the amount of cheating that goes on, and by Chinese PUBG players in general, because most of the cheaters in PUBG are Chinese. So PUBG have said that they've upgraded their security measures, improved their anti-cheat solutions, and added new anti-cheat software on top of that. So they are working on it at least. But they're still Fortnite is on top of that. Everything cheating. They're right like that, man.
I just don't see the point in fucking cheating in a game. Either you get good or you don't play.
And it's in a single player game. I've got nothing against it.
Well, a bit of a code here and there.
Like I remember the days of playing GTA 3 and San Andreas and Vice City, and you put on God mode, all weapons.
Oh yeah, destruction.
And was it?
You get the tank. Oh, when you get that tank.
No, pedestrians. There was one cheat also where pedestrians just went absolutely freaking mental, and attacked anyone and everything, right? And if you put on God mode and had all weapons, you could just go around it. It would be like playing a battle royale game, only you would have infinite health and you just watch everybody else decimate each other. It was hilarious.
That sounds awesome as all hell.
It was so much fun.
Whereas now, if you do it nowadays, you're in jail.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's with a single player game, I think it should be okay. But the minute you start cheating on multiplayer, that is unacceptable.
Yeah, just kind of fucking ruin it for everyone else. I mean, fuck's sake.
Because, I mean, GTA has some cheaters on it. It's on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. It's not as noticeable, but they are there. But it's when it's on like the PS3 and the Xbox 360. You had folk who would join your server, and they were hackers, and then they would make it rain money, which at the time you thought, fantastic, I can buy that supercar I wanted, or I can pay for that heist that I couldn't afford to start. But then any money that you gained illegally made you a cheater and put you into a cheater's lobby. So what people would then start doing is, if they were in your server, they would make it rain money on top of you, so you became a cheater without actually doing anything. Like, you wouldn't run towards the money. They would just be dropping all the money on top of you.
That is insanely intelligent.
It was fucking annoying.
Well, don't be under the money, like rain.
No, they actually make it rain on top of you. So I'm sitting there in passive mode. I've put my controller down. I've gone to the kitchen to grab a can of juice or make a sandwich or something. The next thing I know, I'm in a cheater's lobby because someone's came along and just went, let's make $1 million fall on top of this guy. And you're like, I became a cheater by going to the fucking kitchen.
There's the joke there, but I'm not going to make it.
Anyway, enough about cheating. Exciting thing for PC players. Steam Link is coming to mobile platforms. Steam Link is a great app for connected televisions where you can play games that you have on Steam on them. And it is also, coming to Android and iOS. So as long as they have a strong enough internet, you can play pretty much your full library of Steam games. So you could play Elder Scrolls Online, Star Trek Online, Skyrim, Fallout, I Am Bread. Since you mentioned it earlier,
I thought you said it wasn't Mario.
Oh, Mario's not on Steam.
That's what I said.
Yet.
No. Give me peace, man.
GTA, Final Fantasy 15, Windows Edition.
Windows Edition.
Well, that's what the Royal Edition's called on the computer because it's the first launch of Final Fantasy 15 on a computer.
Huh.
Wee fact for you there. But yeah, if you have it in your Steam library, you can play it on your mobile phone. And if you have a compatible controller, you can play it that way. So yeah, you will also get the Steam Video app as well, as it will combine both of those platforms together on Android and iOS.
Hold on, wait. Steam is a video app?
Yes,
Was that like? What was that for? I'm so confused.
it has movies and stuff on it, and documentaries about video games and stuff. It's really cool.
Who? What? No, never mind. You
Um,
don't. I was about to ask you to watch a documentary about
as long as it's video game
games.
related, generally, if it's a video about video games, be it a documentary or
It's pixels on it.
maybe.
That counts.
But you would also get things like Final Fantasy Advent Children, Spirits Within, like movies based on video games as well.
Ah, I get you.
So documentaries, movies, TV shows based on video games. I think you also get some mainstream. I don't really use Steam Video because I've got Amazon Prime, Netflix,
Crunchyroll.
I don't have Crunchyroll.
Get Crunchyroll.
I've got Now TV, Amazon Prime,
Now TV.
yeah,
Mm.
Amazon Prime and Netflix and the WWE Network.
Oh my god.
And I only actually at the moment I'm just binge watching House on
My
Now
man.
TV.
You seen all of it?
But considering I gave you all the DVDs at one point,
So that's a yes. The last season.
but before that I was binge watching Star Trek Next Gen on Netflix.
Was that meant to be a segue?
Kind of but
Okay.
also pure fact.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I'll give you it.
But while we're talking about Next Gen, Star Trek Bridge Crew is getting a new DLC. Now, the DLC does kind of annoy me a little bit
Okay, why?
because Star Trek Bridge Crew is based in the Kelvin timeline, which
Oh
is
my god, you're
is
that
the
much of a
reboot.
geep.
which is
Geep?
Geep. Aye,
Apparently you're a geep.
I'm a Trekkie.
The Scottish version. I'm a Trekkie.
But it's based in the Kelvin timeline, which is the original series reboot, basically, right? With the
Right.
movies, right? But the new DLC brings in the Next Generation, which isn't part of the Kelvin timeline. Which annoys me, because it's two different timelines. But Next Gen was my favourite series of Star Trek, so I'm super excited for it. Because I can now play as Mr. Data.
So be excited then, you weirdo.
Is that way because they don't fit together in canon? It annoys me. That's it. They don't fit together in the canon. That's why it annoys me. But I'm excited because I really like Next Gen. It's my favourite. So it brings in the Borg, Romulans, and Soong type androids like Lieutenant Commander Data and his brother Lore.
Data and the lore.
Data and Lore.
Huh.
So that's really cool. You can now get the bridge for the Enterprise. Well, you could already play on the Enterprise, but it was like the NCC 1701 from, that Kirk was in, that Kirk was captain of.
Alright.
But now it's the NCC 1701D, which was Picard's ship. Look at that face.
I know.
If we had cameras here, by the way,
It's like
you would see that, like, the cringe
okay,
of someone who doesn't like Star Trek being told about Star Trek.
it's like a mix of disgust, surprise, and kind of awe at the amount of random facts he can pull out of his head. It's kind of cool in a weird way. It's like someone like chowing down on like 20 cheeseburgers one after another. You're disgusted by it, you're like, that's still pretty admirable. Going.
I could do 20 cheeseburgers.
Wherefore,
It's easy.
that's just my default expression for you, my man.
It's mostly because, like, my new meds, so it's like appetite's like pure massive, and I could just eat for days.
If you're just gonna say like, you don't like chew, you swallow.
Inhale them. But no, yeah, I think it's really cool. They've rebalanced the game because, the newer ships are obviously more powerful than the older ships. And
Generally that's how things work.
And there's new weapons like the anti-proton beam and stuff like that.
What is an anti-proton beam?
It's a beam that shoots anti-protons, obviously, instead of protons.
So what's an anti-proton?
The opposite of a proton?
So tricky. God damn.
I'm a Trekkie, not a scientist.
I'm not a doctor.
Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor, not a doctor.
Fucking hell.
So the new Borg mission Resistance. Basically, you have to travel through space, find kind of.
Did you miss a paragraph?
It basically tells you now get the NCC 1701D. That is pretty much it. It changes tactical to ops. Oh, sorry, engineering to ops. And you get, the Borg, next gen uniforms, and you can make your characters look like Mr. Data. That's pretty
It's
much
actually
it.
called Mr. Data.
Mr. Data.
Everyone just calls him Data.
Yeah. Lieutenant Commander Data, Mr. Data, or Data.
Mr. Data. Pure reference every time.
When you talk to another officer on the bridge and you do not use their rank before their name, but it's not urgent, you do Mister. The only person you do not do that to
Captain.
is the captain.
Because he's the captain.
Yeah. And you also don't just call him Picard.
Well, unless you don't actually work in the ship. Then you're kind of like, just like, whatever.
But, when Picard talks to Riker, it would be either Riker, Mr. Riker, or Lieutenant Riker. No, Commander Riker. Although sometimes they might go Will, because it's Will Riker. But no, Mr. LaForge, Jordi gets called Mr. LaForge, and Data gets called Mr. Data.
Is that the guy who flew the visor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the blind guy.
That's cool.
I've just punched the microphone.
Such is his glee at talking about Star Trek.
So yeah, it's going to be really cool. You fight the Borg. They will learn your tactics and become more aggressive, and it gets very mean very quickly.
That sounds shit. Oh god.
So anyone who
Okay, you need to have that quote though.
what
Right, from there to there.
players will need to travel through space and retrieve scattered anti-Borg prototypes to fight off a Borg cube that is happily assimilating and slaughtering everything in its path.
Of happily assimilating and slaughtering.
Well, that's what the Borg do.
Happily, with big smiles on their faces.
Resistance is futile. You will be assimilated.
You will enjoy it. Or I will. I'm not sure.
We are the Borg.
That could be a song. We are the Borg!
So yeah, once you've completed each prototype, once you've collected each prototype, it will give you a new tool for fighting the Borg. But don't fight the Borg too often because it will adapt to your tactics and become more powerful, more aggressive. Yeah, it sounds really fun.
It actually reminds me a bit like original Final Fantasy. Oh my god, I not used too much. Original Mass Effect trilogy.
With the Reefers?
Yeah, you kind of take them onto like soon and you're not ready, you get destroyed.
Yep.
Same kind of idea.
So, you'll get access to that content on the 22nd of May.
Damn, that's soon.
That is soon, when it is released on the PS4 and PSVR.
Mm-hmm.
If you have it on a different platform, so if you use the HTC Vive, the Oculus Rift, or Windows Mixed Reality, that is July 21st you'll be getting that. So, yeah, it is.
That's also one of the coolest
It
names
is
I've seen
incoming.
though. Windows Mixed Reality. That sounds insane.
So we're coming near to the end. This next one is kind of a bit misleading.
Yeah,
in the title.
This doesn't make sense.
So, pardon me, a sec. drinking my Rockstar too fast. Square Enix will show off its lineup of incoming games during a dedicated E3 presentation this year. However, it will technically not be at E3
This is still
because
stupid, man.
it's going to be on the Monday the 11th, which is the day before E3 actually starts. It's kind of like Microsoft, because they have their E3 presentation in the middle of E3, but they don't have it in the E3 center. Like, they don't have it in the Los Angeles Coliseum where E3 is. They have it down the road at the Microsoft Center, because I mean it is their own space, so they
Yeah.
can do that. But their showcase, as they're calling it, won't be a traditional live press conference held on stage in a theater. You know, like not like normal.
Everyone else.
Instead, it will
everyone
be
else.
more like a Nintendo Direct, you know, a live stream video that will have been produced in advance. So yeah, the video will be available in English and Japanese, and it will begin at 10 a.m. Pacific time in the States, which is we're what 7 hours ahead, so
Well, it depends where about.
that's about 5 o'clock, I think.
Was that AM or PM?
Uh, 7 p.m. here.
Alright.
No, 5 p.m. here even. 10 a.m. there.
Alright.
Will be live streamed Facebook, Mixer, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. It will also be archived on YouTube. So yeah, this will be Square Enix's first proper E3 presentation in 3 years.
Proper, yeah.
Well, they were E3 last year, but it was just the kind of video loop, and like every couple of hours they had a different focus. So they done Stormblood for one of them, FF7R for one, KH3, Kingdom Come Deliverance, and Agents of Mayhem were the ones that bounce off the top of my head. So yeah, but E3 2015 was the last time they actually held a proper press briefing. They've given no hints about the lineup, saying only we'll connect you with the many worlds within our universe. Although we definitely expect to see Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Kingdom Hearts 3 because they are both due out this year.
Yeah, really soon.
But we are hoping to hear about the Avengers project, the next
interested.
The next Life is Strange game, Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age, which is already out in Japan, but is coming out over here on the Switch in the West. It's the Western release that they'll be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a possibility of getting an update of FF7R, but I wouldn't be holding my breath on that one.
Yeah, no offense to you, but I'm more interested in like a Avengers project.
Yeah, Avengers project is probably kind of the top of the list for me of the things we might get. I mean, KH3, we're definitely getting that.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see what they have to show us.
I mean, that's like the one area, like aside from maybe like cartoon releases, that Marvel is kind of falling behind with regards to DC.
Yeah, but it's because there's not been many games coming out. Like most of the games have been your kind of mobile games
Or Lego.
Jesus, I like the Lego Marvel games. To be fair.
Come on, there's tons of them, man. Lego's hit
three.
off like hell.
There's 3 Lego Marvel games.
Go on then.
Lego Marvel Avengers, Lego Marvel Superheroes, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2.
There's still tons. Shut up.
But then you've also got like all the Star Wars games and Indiana Jones and Harry Potter
as well.
Incredibles isn't out yet. That comes out later this year.
Is it? Oh,
yes. But you've got that.
Yeah, but Lego doesn't count as a proper game.
They're fun though. They're fun time wasters. Like I was playing Lego Star Wars Force Awakens with Harry last night, just like 1 a.m, just because why the hell not? It's one of those games you switch your brain off and just break Lego things, really.
Yeah.
It's just the kind of fun game to play without having to think too much about it, and that's why I like it.
Okay, back in track. What I was trying to get at was, with the idea of like DC, they get some proper like high-end games, well, mainly, admittedly, the Batman games.
Yeah.
And there was talk of them doing a Superman game. I think it's Rocksteady's doing a Superman game, which is going to be amazing. So really, Avengers is the biggest topic to use if we go for like a proper game.
Well, you've got the PlayStation exclusive coming out this year, Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. So Spider-Man, I'll give you, is the equivalent of Mario and Spyro. He's always there in some format. Some games hit out the park. Some games you're like, why was this made?
This game looks amazing.
I'll give you that. It does look epic. It's
And
all hell.
I'm super stoked for this. I'm hyped for this one.
Plus, what's interesting is it's unlikely, but they might bring out like kind of references to like Avengers and stuff, considering that Spider-Man's kind of
Well,
shared
the
thing.
his suit in Spider-Man PS4
Mm-hmm.
is the suit he wears in Infinity War.
Well, one of the unlockables he gets.
No, the suit that he wears in the game, like the main one, is his suit for Infinity War.
Which part? Because he wears two.
The Iron Spider one that he wears when they're fighting.
I'm sure that was DLC, man.
Oh, it's the one that they've shown you in the trailers.
Nah, I don't think it is, man. I'm sure it's like an unlockable one you can get. I don't think it's a proper one. So I would have thought we wouldn't have been like... Because obviously when you think about it, like... Well, Sony's got full rights to the game so they can do what they want.
Yeah.
So would I assume they'd use like a costume like that as maybe a little additional thing for fans?
Perhaps. But we know we're getting that. We know we're getting... But I mean... You do also have Marvel vs. Capcom games as well.
No.
I'm so bad at that game.
I hate them.
Right, this topic is kind of a big one, this news item.
Yeah, this
But
is going to get deep.
I want to gloss over it, really, because...
Man, we ain't going to get glossing over this, and this is too big a topic.
It's one of those topics I don't want to get in a big debate about.
How can it be we debate we're on the same side?
Yeah, no, but you know what I mean? I don't want to be stuck on this because it really annoys me, this one. It annoys me too much.
Okay, trying to limit our responses then, because it does piss me off as well. And the logic behind it, I don't see it.
So, the National Rifle Association, as many know, is the gun lobbyists in the States.
America's arsehole.
And they have a long history of blaming video games for gun-related violence in American society, particularly mass shootings, right?
Mm.
And they had their annual conference a couple of weeks ago, and one of their leading proponents has, once again blamed games.
Oh no, you need to sound off on him, man.
And yeah, I mean, he's saying video games are the problem, not the guns. Like, we would have less, like, you could have more violent video games and less gun crime if you had more control over who has the bloody guns.
Okay, and just to highlight, since Jack isn't, the guy in question is a former Army Ranger, one Dave Grossman. So just think of that. This is an Army Ranger saying the reason people are killing each other is because of video games.
Actually, I was going to come to that next. I was going to come to that next.
I thought you jumped.
No.
Ah, bad. See, this is why I let him lead.
But yeah, he is a proponent of mass ownership of firearms.
Okay.
He is an author of a book called "Stop Teaching Our Kids to Kill."
The irony is strong with this one.
And he's also written other books on the psychology of killing. He is a head case. He trains police officers to be less hesitant to use lethal force in the course of their work. So he's going, video games make people kill with guns, yet he's telling police officers, don't be afraid to kill with guns. I mean, what? I mean, come on. Surely, there's got to be a point where what you say to one group of people and then what you say about another group of people has to, at some point, diverge into two different arguments. Surely if he's all about, less shootings, he should be telling them, use your taser instead of your gun. At least. Surely.
Or just literally go around with beanbag guns, man.
Yeah. I mean, it boggles the mind. He says that games are murder simulators that train kids to kill. I mean it's this way, right? I was talking with a couple of folk about this earlier on today, and I kind of understand where he could be coming from. Like, normal people, I say normal people, that it sounds kind of derogatory, but as I continue this on, but most people have, the sense about them to know it's a video game and that is it.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, video games influence our personalities and influence some of our actions. I mean, like I said, when I was talking about this earlier, I turned around and said, if I seen a ghost train, I would certainly turn around and try and suplex it. If I seen a laughing clown, I would channel my inner Saban and roundhouse kick it as hard as I can, because I'd think it's Kefka.
In other words, Jack is really out of reality right now.
But I wouldn't, if I had a gun, I wouldn't go, I am now Black Ops.
No,
do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't even carry it. I'd have it in the safest place in my house and I wouldn't take it out.
I mean, it's mental. Surely there are some people who are on like some kind of spectrum, be it autistic or whatever, where they are so far on the spectrum that everything seems real to them, and it might influence them. But then the chances of them getting their hands on a gun without any problems would then stop that from happening. Surely, I mean, it's that way. It makes no sense to me how we can make these links, because like there's been studies showing that video game violence does not affect how people react in real life.
It's just worrying to think like an army ranger is saying this. I mean, what the hell? I mean, this is literally a quote he's put, right? The stuff is worldwide. Folks, I want you to understand this is not business as usual. Around the planet, children are committing crimes like no one's ever seen before in human history. It's not about the guns. The guns have always been there. It's the sick movies and the sick TV shows and especially the sick video games around the planet that are creating sick kids. This is from a guy, an ex-army ranger who lives in a country in which you can get a gun off a bank account.
It's easier to buy a gun in the States than it is to rent a car.
I mean, where's the logic in that? The guns haven't always been there. They're more accessible than ever.
And, I mean, since, there was a study and it showed that there's been 33 mass shootings since video games came out, right? There's been 100 recorded in total. So there was, 67 before video games came out. Sure, more people have been killed in mass shootings since in those 33, but they've attributed 4 of them to video games. They originally attributed 5 and 1 was debunked.
How have they attributed the video games? I'm intrigued.
Because the people that committed the shootings were gamers. Columbine?
Oh yeah, it was because the guys made a messed up version of Doom port.
They were avid players of Doom and Quake.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the one at Virginia Tech?
Oh, what rings a bell?
It was a foreign student, Chinese, I think, and apparently, right, he was a massive CS:GO fanatic.
Right.
And then his roommate turned around and went, "I've never seen him play a video game in his life. Like, the whole time I've known him, I've never seen him play a video game." So, they originally went, CS:GO, it's a violent game, that's what caused it. And then they found out that he hadn't actually ever played it. So the minute they even think a video game is involved, they jump on the bandwagon. I'm not saying, video games are innocent in anything,
Yeah.
But video games probably did play a part. But they're not the sole blame.
Yeah, but I still don't get how. Honestly, I don't see the correlation between. For instance, myself, right? Big over RPGs. So if I see a guy with if I play his character wielding a 7-foot sword, I'm not gonna think, do you know what I feel like doing right now? Go grabbing a big ass sword and flailing at people.
Oh no. But if you have, all these people have been reportedly had mental health issues, which could impair their judgment or impair their grip on reality when they play these games.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, video games are not to blame, but maybe the people who give them the video games, or if they stay with their parents, the parents letting them play these games, the types of video games people play will affect their personality differently, obviously.
Okay,
But
I'll go down that route because that's an interesting route. Because you always get these parents, for instance, who buy like their 12, 13-year-old kids like Grand Theft Auto.
yeah,
That is messed up.
yeah,
That's the same level of people who try to take their kids to like R-rated movies. Like I remember someone posted on Facebook that were shocked that when they taken little Timmy who's like 10 to Deadpool.
yeah. You mentioned this before.
Yeah, and you're like, it's R-rated.
Yeah,
And then you're shocked at the naked. No, actually, it wasn't. No, there was some nakedness as well.
Yeah.
Well implied. They go over and swearing, and then you're shocked.
I mean,
Like people are given these ratings not because, oh yeah, they have to, but it's also for the benefit of the growing child.
Yeah.
What they shouldn't be seeing.
yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. It's really hard to stick up for video games, but it's really hard to turn around and like defend them at the same time. It's hard to blame them and it's hard to defend them, because it's not like the video games themselves
Mm-hmm.
in the form they're in solely, that is not the cause of it. But other factors like mental health, addiction, whether someone's been bullied or not, other factors also take that into account.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you have either severe mental health issues or you're high as fuck playing these video games, you
Right.
have less of a grip on reality when you're playing these video games. So you might think some of this is real, which then would in turn have that effect in real life for you. But that's not the video game's fault. It's all the other circumstances that the video game is, has become the scapegoat.
I don't even.
This is why I didn't want to talk too much on this one.
Man,
why I wanted
this
to
is
gloss over
always a really big topic.
I know. But-
Certain things you can like protect them against. Like for instance, everyone's trying to lobby against. Well, not against. Trying to lobby for the idea of making the process of getting a gun in America in general a lot more stringent.
They should.
Like literally just doing a mental health check, that kind of thing. It makes sense. Like no, like don't get me wrong, I'm a loner, but like if someone thinks, okay, this is a dude who lives alone by himself, no family, he'll be in one of the kind of demographics putting him in the idea of, yeah, he probably shouldn't have a gun. No offense to loners out there, I am one myself, but you get what I mean. There's the guys always gonna be like, yeah, sad John took a gun to a shop or something, and yeah.
But no, it's a really difficult topic to talk about, because I mean, another reason it's kind of hard for us to talk about. We're Scottish. We were in Scotland. We're not in the States, so we
have like secondary knowledge of all things related to guns. Admittedly, there are shootings over here as well, but we're like very shocking. What the hell? It's Scotland.
I mean, the last one that we had was about 10 years ago. Dunblane.
A couple of weeks ago.
Was there one a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, a guy jumped out of a car and shot a driver in the face.
Mary Hill.
Aye.
I was in Mary Hill, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a couple of weeks. Well, actually, wasn't it a couple of weeks ago?
It was about 2-3 weeks ago. I just remembered, but see, because it's not a pure mass shooting, it was just someone jumped out of a car and shot somebody.
No
in the
offense
face.
to anyone involved.
I'm thinking mass shootings here, right?
Oh, okay, I'll give you that. The last one was
Dunblane's the last one that I remember.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've heard of other shootings since. There was a shooting outside my college when I was there.
Oh, Jesus.
Through Cardonald.
Oh, Christ, right.
It was actually like middle of the day, and it was at the bit where I would normally walk to get either the bus or the train back to Glasgow.
Mm.
And then there was Asda, the one at Rob Royston, Asda.
Mm.
Someone got shot in the head.
Jesus.
Then it was a kind of gangland thing. Both of them were gangland things. But there was only one mass shooting that I can remember, and that is Dunblane.
Here's another interesting point now, right? In both of those instances, when we've talked about guns over here, guns have been used for explicit purpose of murder. However, there are instances in America of guns just being purely handled because they're so common that's led to damage.
Yeah.
For instance, I think it was recently a woman the father had left the gun in the car. The mother was driving the kids around. The wee daughter in the back seat could hold in the gun and shot them all through the shoulder from the back seat, like into the front. And you're like, so it's a wee girl playing around with what she thinks is a wee toy, and she fires a mummy.
Yeah.
That's just lax in terms of guns or ever kill guns. Just stick in the back. It's chill. No, it's not chill. It's a fucking killing device.
I mean, over here, like you can get guns here. It's not. I'm not going to say it's easy, but
God, it doesn't sound easy. Jesus.
But like you have to, have a reason to own the gun. Like only two types of people are specifically allowed to own a gun: farmers and hunters. Right?
Yeah.
So you've got to state why you want the gun, and then you've got to, unless you already have the license, apply for a license, get a background check, get sufficient training on how to handle, maintain your gun. You've got to have a gun locker built or an armory, which is locked at all times.
Makes sense.
So you're not allowed to keep it in the trunk of your car unless you have a gun locker in the back of your car.
Yeah. And what happens if your car gets stolen then? Would that mean doubly against you then if you've lost your gun in that as well?
Well, generally a gun locker would be in like a house anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying about like, if it can't be in the car and your car gets stolen.
But if it's in the car and the car gets stolen,
that's screwed to hell, isn't it?
Well, most people, the minute their car gets stolen, they would phone, the police saying my car's been stolen.
Oh yeah, but
and then they would probably logically add that information in.
Well, that makes it. That goes from we'll get on it to oh Christ, right? We'll get right on that, you damn idiot.
Yeah, but no, but like, then you've got to wait for months, while they do background checks and make sure everything is legit and all that, and then you get your gun. I mean, it's a long-winded process over here, and that's kind of what they need over there.
I suppose the difference though is, right, if you think about maybe there's like maybe 100 or so people, if that a year over here would try and get a gun, whereas over there, man, it'd be like a good 100,000 trying to get guns all the time.
The only other group of people that are allowed to own guns are marksmen, like
Olympic type.
Yeah, competitive marksmen.
Nah, it's pretty cool to watch Olympics.
But they generally have specially modified guns.
Oh, like kind of shoot fake bullets kind of things in, like pellets and shit.
Yeah. But you can, like, I know there's a thing called airsoft over here.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's over in the States or not, but it's like high-powered BB guns.
Yeah.
And they can actually be modified
really?
to fire real bullets.
Oh, fuck, right.
It's illegal.
Oh, I hope so.
And if you get caught with the stuff to modify it like that over here, you can get arrested for illegally possessing a firearm. But you can do that.
Christ.
Anyway.
Yeah, sorry about.
I would like to come off of this topic.
Yeah, sorry about a long-winded detour. My bad.
And on to our final news topic.
Go.
Final Fantasy VII, Tomb Raider, Space War, and John Madden Football have been inducted into the Video Game Hall of Fame. I think, 2 months ago?
Yeah, something like that.
We covered the nominations and we said we would come back with what we thought, what got inducted. We both said we hoped FF7 and Tomb Raider got inducted, and they both were. Congratulations to those games and the teams that worked on them. You guys are in the Hall of Fame.
Whoop whoop.
Just to let you know, the 4 games that were inducted were from a field of 12 nominations. John Madden Football and Tomb Raider had both been finalists in 2016 and 2017. Final Fantasy VII was a finalist in 2017, and Space War. This was the first time actually being nominated.
Out of nowhere.
And were inducted. For next year's Hall of Fame, anyone can nominate a game. The finalists and inductees are chosen in consultation with scholars, historians, writers, and others familiar with video games and their role in history.
So not anything Mario or I Am Bread. For God, please not I Am Bread.
So basically, people like me, according to Mark, who are video game historians.
Man, your knowledge of Final Fantasy is terrifying in its entirety.
And any games that are inducted into the Hall of Fame are placed permanently on display in the Strong's second floor, the Strong Museum in Rochester, New York.
Sorry, it's called the what?
The Strong Museum.
Seriously, it's the Strong Museum? That
It's
sounds
called,
so cool.
It's in Rochester, New York. And
The Strong Museum.
I think, see if some point we should go over and check it out.
Aye. We'll just hop over, why don't we? Sound.
Just hop over to Rochester, New York. What we should do.
Oh, you're going to say road trip, aren't you?
Kind of.
Oh, here we go.
Right. We go over for 2 weeks, right?
Oh, fucking hell.
Start in Rochester, New York,
Yeah.
and go see the Video Game Hall of Fame. And then we make our way down to Los Angeles, spend a week at E3, and then, we'll go New York on the Monday, the Tuesday through to the Saturday, right? We'll do an extra 2 days in LA for E3. And then the second week, Vegas.
So basically, in this alternate timeline, we are millionaires with time to spare and money.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. That goes alternate reality. Let's jump in that.
But yeah, no, I'd love to check out E3. I'd love to check out the Video Game Hall of Fame.
That'd be pretty cool.
So,
If we could go down there, I'd love to go out for like a proper Comic Con then. That'd be epic as
San
shit.
Diego.
Oh, damn. If you're going to go to Comic Con, go proper.
But yeah, that's what I'd like to do. But yeah, that is us for the news. Mentioning E3.
Mm-hmm.
E3 is coming up. It's not long away. It is a month away now.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you're really excited to see at E3 that you know of, or anything that you hope is going to be there?
Okay, as I've already stated, the Avengers Project, I am in desperate, dire need of a fully fledged Avengers RPG type thing. That would just be amazing. Aside from that, I don't know if I'll get it, but I'd love to hear if we're any steps we've taken for the next installment of the Dragon Age series.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're obviously working on it, so this is about Dragon Age 4, I believe, yes?
Well, last I heard, they were actually working on live elements for Dragon Age Origins Inquisition.
Live elements? What?
It's red loot boxes.
Oh, God.
No. Knowing E3, it's red loot boxes. It's probably more multiplayer stuff.
See, I mean, I'll go for the story, I leave when it comes to multiplayer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be well up for anything to do with the next introduction of the Dragon Age series. I'd say Mass Effect, but that'd be a joke.
Unless they announced a original trilogy remaster.
That'd be pretty cool. I'd still get that for the PS4. That'd be amazing.
I think I'm really quite excited for the Square Enix stuff, obviously.
Naturally.
Kingdom Hearts 3, Dragon Quest 11. That's quite exciting for me. I'm looking forward to Bethesda stuff, because they've got Rage 2 and Starfield coming. And, like, Starfield, it's a new... Well, from what we're hearing, it's an open world RPG set in space. It's like Fallout in space.
That could be really interesting, because I've not even played that many games in space now I think about it. Like that,
like Dead Space,
obviously.
That sounds really, really cool to me. So I'm I'm quite excited for that.
The bonus thing is obviously you're going to get aliens.
Yeah.
So that'll be a predominant thing. It's not like mutated bugs and shit. It's just like Zlorp from Planet over there.
Nintendo, they usually have something really, really good on.
You're going to say his name, aren't you?
No,
Go
no,
on,
no.
say his name.
No, well, the main things that Nintendo have coming out shortly after that is Smash Bros. And
Nah, that's looking too cool.
Octopath Traveler. So you might hear about Octopath Traveler twice at E3.
Mhm.
One's from Square Enix and one's from Nintendo.
Yeah.
So that will be kind of interesting. I'm hoping to hear some more Star Wars news from E3. Because rumours have been swirling around that they might actually be working on a single-player Star Wars game, kind of like what Visceral were going to do,
All right. Okay.
like the kind of adventure style, like kind of Uncharted style Star Wars game.
So, see if I was going to go down that route and make it like a Han Solo kind of game.
Yeah.
Well, if Solo movie goes
Yeah.
well.
Well, that's what they were talking about. Visceral were in the works of doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then Visceral got shut down.
All right,
And EA said we're not focusing on single player games, and then they come out saying, "Oh, we're making a single player Star Wars game." So I'm kind of wanting to hear a bit about that. Obviously, Avengers Project.
Yeah, and
Um,
also forgot. Well, I've heard like Rocksteady are meant to be doing a Superman solo game.
Yeah, you
So
said that at the
any info about that, it'd be amazing.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to hearing about.
That is looking cool.
But yeah, that's kind of stuff I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, like maybe not, might get some FF7R news.
Any real update in that would be quite.
It would be kind of need an update considering what's been going on
It's getting a bit worrying now.
with like the design, like they don't have a core team in place properly. They don't
Seriously?
really.
Oh, fuck.
They're still looking for level designers and things like that. So and they've also got rid of CyberConnect 2, who were outsourced. Who parts of the game are outsourced to.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be really cool to get some more info on what's happening with that. Bandai Namco have been talking about releasing a new Tales game. That's their RPG series, Tales of
Like Symphonia and shit. No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
Symphonia. The latest one was Tales of Berseria.
Are they related or is it just different games?
I think they all exist in the same universe, but they're all different games.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Because I've only played Tales of Xillia
Damn.
on the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm quite excited to hear about some of the stuff they've got on. They've got a new Tales game coming.
Yeah.
I think it's called Tales of Festivia.
These names are getting a bit out of hand, aren't they?
Or Tales of Festive or something. I don't know. My brother mentioned what the name was earlier, but I knew there was a new Tales game in the works. So hopefully we'll mention that. They've got One Piece World Seekers coming soon.
I really need to catch up on the anime before I can watch or watch all of anime.
So you can't really watch all of the anime because the anime's not finished yet.
Nah,
So
in
as
fact, like
as a
400
case
plus
of catch up, I'm like I think I stopped watching about episode 200, and there was only 600 episodes at the time, and now you're nearly 900 episodes. So
There's
a
almost
long way to go.
I didn't realize there's 900 episodes. That's a dedicated anime team. Good
Yeah.
God.
So yeah, they've got a new One Piece game coming out soon, which should be good. It's also Bandai Namco. They're the guys that make Tekken.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we might get some kind of Tekken stuff. Maybe might get maybe surprises with some Tekken 8.
Did you know Nox was in one of those Tekken games?
Noctis is in Tekken 7.
Noctis even
Yep.
Mental.
Yeah, Noctis is in Tekken 7. Also in Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition, you get the Half-Life. You get the outfit that Gordon Freeman wears in Half-Life
Oh, Jesus.
as a attire. It's kind of cool. But yeah, there's so much stuff that could happen, might not happen, but it's seeming like this might be the best E3 we've had in a couple of years. It seems like it could be the best
Right,
E3
yeah.
we've had in a few years.
There's one thing I'd love to find out, but I don't think it'd happen just because it's random. I'd love a Doctor Who game. I'm sorry, I'm a geek. I'm British.
Is there a Doctor Who game?
That's what I'm saying. I'd love for someone to just randomly come in and say, yes, we're making a fully fledged Doctor Who game.
I think there is actually. I actually think there is a Doctor Who game.
I don't think it was that good though. Like a proper like console.
I think it was on the BBC Micro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or like the Commodore 64 or something.
I know it's like proper out there and random, but I'd love a proper Doctor Who game. Like if I can go into TARDIS, explore planets and shit, meet alien races, be shocked to shit, like ah. Anyway, yeah.
But yeah,
I outed myself as a Whovian, but oh well.
That is definitely. I mean, yeah, but it's definitely looking to be a great E3 this year.
Regardless of being any Whovian enjoy or not.
I'll tell you what. If I can find a team who can make games, we will make a Doctor Who game just for you.
Oh, it'd be epic.
And do you know what we'll even do? We'll let you voice the Doctor.
Oh, please don't. You used to be distinguished, not this.
What are you? You mean like how you were saying that I sound posh earlier?
Bro, your mic voice is posh as shit compared to your actual voice.
To be fair, there's a reason for that.
Oh, here we go.
I use the same voice on the mic as I do as my customer service voice at work.
Oh my god.
It's true though. It's so true. My mic voice is also my customer service voice. The only difference is I occasionally swear in mic voice. In customer service mode, I don't swear.
He says, right. Yeah, sure.
Oh, true. So true. Yeah, definitely looking forward to E3. Is there anything you're worried about seeing at E3 though?
Mario, Sonic, Nintendo to an extent. Just because I'm so bored of them. No, that's anything. Hopefully just good vibes from E3.
Like my biggest worry, to be fair, is Square Enix. Kingdom Hearts 3 shows you everything, like all the trailers and the screen caps and stuff.
Some
Gets you
trailers are just
super hyped for it, and then release date cancelled.
Right.
And just like that would just be like the biggest fuck you to players ever. I don't know. It would just annoy me so much. They get you so hyped up for it just to tell you it's fucking cancelled. Because I mean, like it seems to be like we don't know what the release date is yet, but reports are that everything is on target to hit those release dates.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Harry were talking about this earlier today, but I turned around to him and went, "Don't get too excited because it's the video games industry. Anything can happen at any point. The game could get cancelled out of nowhere. So don't overhype yourself for it."
Mm.
And one of my fears is like maybe not even Kingdom Hearts, but like Cyberpunk or FF7R or the Avengers project, or any game that we've got some amount of hype for, whether it's a game we personally are looking forward to or not, but just any game that's got hype behind it. Just they show you a full trailer and then tell you it's cancelled after the trailer. That would bug me to no end. That would ruin me.
I don't see the point in that. Who makes a trailer just say, yeah, this is what could have been?
To troll people. So it's definitely an E3 thing. E3 EA thing. It's definitely an EA thing because it's trolling the players.
Yeah, spend money on our products. Except you ain't getting them, you bitch.
Although, when I mentioned Cyberpunk 2077, I don't think CD Projekt Red will have their own thing. I do think that will be mentioned as part of either Microsoft or Sony's presentations.
Right.
Because while I know it's coming out on both systems,
I will probably pick one and
it'll probably because while they'll generally mention mostly first party stuff, or second party stuff, I think that they do occasionally include games that are for all platforms and not developed by them at all. It's just a smaller group, but like CD Projekt Red, because I think that's like 100-man team from Poland.
Jesus.
I say 100-man team, 100-person team. I'm not being sexist. It's just I'm not being sexist. That's just the normal term.
Person. There's a word for it.
Yeah, but yeah, that could be. It's more likely to be part of the bigger presentations, just like a lot of the Deep Silver stuff and Kingdom Come Deliverance was included in Square Enix's one last year.
All right.
So yeah, it's looking to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like mixed, like hoping it'll be good, but at the same time, I don't know.
So any other banter?
Don't put me in a spot, man. Don't be that guy.
Well, I'll tell you. I was playing Fortnite. Playing Fortnite. And they've got this crossover event going on the Battle Royale just now.
Seen it, yeah.
And it's the Infinity Gauntlet. I was playing it in my room, and I had the headset plugged into the television because I couldn't plug into the controller because the microphone's broke. My sister stood on the microphone and it doesn't work.
Smooth.
So I've got like the one earpiece headset that comes with the PlayStation.
Oh god, right.
Plugged into the PlayStation because I was in party chat, and I didn't want to have the TV sound on because it was like middle of the night. So I plugged the old headset with the two headphones into the side of the telly and had it up pretty loud. And then Thanos like kind of whispered, and I shat myself. I mean, I actually fucking crapped it.
Okay, that's disgusting.
Not literally.
Yeah, I actually, yeah, but not literally. See what annoys me?
Like in the metaphorical sense, to the point where I could have built a house out of all the bricks. I was that scared. But then see, ever since that one experience, totally been fine. But any time he whispers, it was just the first time I wasn't expecting it.
You weren't expecting a man to whisper in your ear?
Exactly.
What interests me, but like the important defense mechanic into the thing is, obviously in the possible spoilers for the movie if you've not seen it. If you have seen it, well, here you go. In the
I've not seen it yet.
Seriously,
bro. I wanted to see it. I haven't had the chance. I've been skint.
You suck as a geek. Oh well, I can't say what I was gonna say now because of Jack. Never mind, Dan. I'm done. You suck. You ruined it.
It's not my fault.
You're okay. I asked that. I could have just spoiled it. Disgusted, honestly.
Although I'm going to go see Deadpool 2 on Tuesday.
Ooh, not bad.
I'm all excited for that. And then the first time I've got money, as long as it's still in the cinema, I'm going straight to see Infinity War.
You need to. Good lord, you need to.
Well, I'm working extra hours this week, so it'll be next week.
Have you avoided spoilers for Infinity War?
I know how to avoid spoilers.
Like, literally just be going on Facebook and shit?
I don't go on Facebook at all, ever. Anyway, I use Facebook for Facebook Messenger, and that is it.
You literally sound like Tom Hanks in The Castaway.
I've avoided Twitter. I've avoided Facebook. I have Reader View on my laptop when I go on sites like Polygon, Kotaku, Rock Paper Shotgun, and things like that, so that when it gives you the links to the articles, it only has the title. It doesn't have any pictures or anything. Right. So yeah,
it's not the pictures that screw you over, man. All the fucking like text and shit.
But no, I've avoided everything I can.
See, I could have a week banter with you for like literally an hour just about Infinity War. You pain in the ass.
Well, once I've seen Infinity War, we'll do a special podcast just for that.
Yeah, because there's so much to banter about from that movie, man. Oh my god. Oh my days.
But yeah, I'm still really excited for Deadpool though. I
am very, very excited. And the fact, taking my little brother to see it because he's recently turned 16, and he actually looks 16, thankfully, so he can actually get into it because I was Deadpool is 15. It's just looking amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. However, Like with Fox having been bought over by Disney and Marvel also been owned by Disney, it means there's now the option
Oh,
of
it's not. Leo's not done yet. It's
Well-
highly likely it'll go through, and I'm hoping to all hell that it goes through because the universe they make will be beautiful.
well, you know, you would now be able to get the likes of Deadpool, Fantastic Four, and X-Men,
Oh no!
and the
Maybe not
MCU.
Deadpool. They've been very hesitant about
Yeah.
adding him in.
But if Deadpool goes in,
Yeah, if he went in, it'd be amazing. But
you've
obviously,
got Josh Brolin playing both Cable and Thanos.
he needs to get around it. One CGI.
Yeah, true, I guess.
No,
But, it's not that. It's just because it's the voice though is the biggest thing though.
I need to hear. I think Cable's got a different kind of an accent, doesn't he?
I think so.
Whereas obviously when he's Thanos, he's just Brolin. So it's just him.
Yeah. But no, that's the one thing that kind of things. I mean, to be fair, I don't even know if Thanos will survive until after they bring that in. But although I've predicted Avengers 4, Squirrel Girl kills Thanos single-handedly,
If that happens,
Just like
I'll
in-
walk out.
just like in the comics.
You know, just when she doesn't kill him. She beats him, doesn't kill him.
Same difference. Anyway, Squirrel Girl wins single-handedly, just like in the comics.
See, what we should also do is, when you finally see it, we can predict who's going to come in and who might play them, because that'd be kind of cool as well.
Yeah. I think
This is like so much prep time, but I'd be so happy doing it.
if they do bring any in, it'll be Fantastic Four first, and it'll be a supporting cast in an ensemble movie, because Fantastic Four, after the reboot upon reboot upon reboot, it's a broken brand, and they need the support. They need to bring them in as a supporting cast,
Yeah.
and then build them up to where they should be at the forefront of it, because like Fantastic Four are the first family of Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
as they're known. You know, they're
Wait, tell me, how strong is your comic book knowledge? That's not comic books, is it? Okay,
that is a book. That is a box of about 200 comics,
your comic book knowledge isn't anything stronger than I was gonna.
and I've read all of them.
Damn. I was gonna mention something, but if you, I hope you wouldn't know. Damn it.
There's still loads of stuff that I don't know. It's just
There's this, the term Secret Wars mean anything to you?
I love the Secret Wars.
Basically,
I'm thinking that's what's going to be happening after Avengers 4.
Well, basically, the idea kind of going around is the Secret Wars could occur, which then you could bring in
Yeah,
the Fantastic Four as
Yeah.
not experts, but
Yeah.
obviously we're relevant to the idea.
yeah. That's when I would be bringing in Fantastic Four, Secret Wars.
I mean, because you've already got Lecree in the
Yeah.
main line. So is Nebula? This is what intrigues me, because me and little brother can't decide, right? So you get Lecree as in just the accuser.
Yep.
Ronan the accuser.
Ronan the
Yeah.
Accuser.
Right. What does Yondu?
Yondu's a Ravager.
No, that's not a race, is it?
No, he's one of the Ravagers. I don't know what Yondu is.
Because obviously he's blue, so you're just gonna assume.
Yeah,
Because Lecree are blue.
yeah, generally, yeah.
And what's Nebula? Because that's her actual. Obviously, she's more robot, but she is technically blue as well.
Possibly. It's not something.
You
It's
don't
not
get-
something. It's not something that's ever been mentioned.
I know
in
it
the
so annoys
books,
me because you're like,
as far as I remember. But it's not something I've actually ever checked either.
because like, obviously you get two main warring races are like Kree and the Skrull.
Yep.
Obviously the Skrull are obviously well wrapped up in the final. What's final? My God, I was gonna say Final Fantasy. Fuck you. The Fantastic Four mythos, which
Yeah.
is why everyone's like, we'll kind of leave them a bit. Whereas Kree kind of like snuck in here and there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit iffy. But yeah, if you get that much a Kree kind of blended through, may as well just
Yeah.
bring the Skrull in a big way.
Yeah. It's not something I know off the top of my head. It's something I would have to double check.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting slightly space races and like Kree are blue, Yondu's blue, Nebula's blue,
Yeah.
Ronan is blue, but he's also Kree. So I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea.
Anyway, is that us for podcast?
Yeah, a slight offshoot of Marvelness, which will be next week's topic, maybe. If we have a look, because you'll have seen the movie by then.
Once I've seen the movie, we'll
discuss it.
We'll discuss it. But yeah, well, that seems to be us at Gaming Kin. Our next official episode will be in 2 weeks' time, as usual, and we will be discussing licensed music within games.
All right.
And covering the news of
2 weeks' time
of the fortnight by that time. So thank you for listening, and thank you to Mark for returning.
You're welcome.
And as always, there's always room for you here at Gaming Kin if you want to be our friend. Stay safe out there.